Hebrews 10:6. He said, no, let's start from 5 again. Therefore, when he came into the world, he said, sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but a body, you see, you have prepared for me. That's what Jesus did. Jesus needed a body to be able to, for God to be able to use him even. In verse 6, in burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin, you had no pleasure. And you know what people do in Nigeria? They make you do, if you will serve, if you will give, God will be lenient to you. God will have mercy on you. He will forgive you. Trying to impress God, trying to get favor from God because of burnt offerings and sacrifices. He said, burnt offerings and sacrifices to resolve your problem with God. God does not have pleasure in it. Can you get it? He does not have pleasure in it. In verse 7, then I said, behold, this is Jesus talking, I have come in the volume of the book as it is written of me. So what is written in the volume of the book about Jesus? You have the Bible. We have the Bible. The Jews have the Torah. What is that is written in the old? If you want to summarize the cumulative of everything that is in the volume of that book, what is it that is said about Jesus? And Jesus is telling us that cumulative, that summary. He said, in the volume of the book is written of me, to do your will, O God. To do your will, O God. That is why he needs our body. To do your will, O God. We are supposed to be the embodiment of God's will. You are supposed to be a packaging of God's will, of God's desire on the earth. An embodiment of God's will and desire. Anything God wants so that God could trust you. An embodiment of his desires. An embodiment of his will. That is the way Jesus lived. If you want to find out the secret behind the life of Jesus, he came to please God. He came to do his will. And everywhere, look at the Gospel of John. He's always saying, I've come to do the will of the one who called me, who sent me. He lived for the will of God. That is as an example for us. We need to surrender our lives to him, to use our lives, our gifts, our talents, our body, our soul, our spirit, to carry out the will and purpose of God upon the earth. Thy will, O God. What is written in the book? The whole summary of this is that I am now the embodiment of God. God is in me. His kingdom is in me. He came to dwell in my body. Why? So that I might be his instrument. The instrument of his will. The instrument of his purpose. The instrument of his agenda. So why do I pray? I pray to find out his will. For that is in his heart in heaven. And so that I will be able to implement it here on the earth. So much that his will be done on earth. Through whom? Through me. How? Through my ingenuity, I must develop myself. Understand what he wants to do on the earth. I say, here I am. Send me. Use me. I am ready for you. That is the whole totality of our lives. What is supposed to be about. We are not supposed to be living for ourselves. Your life is not supposed to be about you. Your life is supposed to be about him. He didn't create you for your own pleasure. He created you for his own pleasure. So that you will be the embodiment of his will. Embodiment of his will. Embodiment of his will. Embodiment of God's will. A package of God's will. So the whole activities, studies, intentions, everything you do in this world is supposed to be about discovering the will and purposes of God and developing your mind to be able to know how to bring it to pass and doing it to make the heart of God happy. That's what Jesus came to do. And that's why I said, not my will, Lord. Even if it's going to cost me my life, not my will. Even if I don't feel like doing it, not my will. Even if I have to die, I would rather die but doing your will than doing my will. So the whole totality of what is written in the book, in the Bible, is about God filling human body. He said, the body I need. So that in human body, God has chosen to reveal himself. That is the essence of the New Testament. He used the body of Jesus as a prime example of that. And Jesus, that's why we have the New Testament. He revealed that it is possible to carry God in the flesh and for a human flesh to display, manifest, and glorify God. So that everybody who will come after Jesus will now live like Jesus to accomplish the purposes of God on the earth through human flesh. That's why, even though John the Baptist is the greatest of all the prophets, but they that will have God live in their flesh, they will be greater than even John the Baptist. Talk less of Moses and Elijah and all the rest. So it's